Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and welcome to a very special episode of ListMania, the show where we're constantly prolonging to our number one pick. And on today's episode, we're going to be honoring the top 10 animated mothers of all time. How about that, BlueDragonFive?
Oh yeah, what other way can we? How else can we celebrate Mother's Day?
Well, last year we did the top 10 Norma Bates moments, and
As
of
much
course
as we wanted,
she is the world's greatest mother, after all.
as much as we want to just do that again with how adorable she is, we couldn't just kind of rehash the same thing. I want to give you guys something different, but we would love the Norma's in our hearts as always.
Oh yeah, of course, and she is here in spirit and in picture form. So,
Oh, Norma Bates.
oh yes, oh yes.
Oh, mother.
Go to hell, you son of a bitches! all right. So yeah, the top 10 animated mothers. Other people have done this list before, but I feel like they've concentrated more on like top 10 hottest animated moms, and that's not necessarily what we're here to do. I mean, certainly a few of these mothers can be attractive, but what we're here to do is we're really here to pick out the best motherly qualities. The best parenting skills, the best character development. We're really here to sort through the best of the best. How you doing, Trevor? All right. Yeah.
And of course, if we just by happenstance talk about mothers, anime mothers who happen to be very attractive, that's just pure coincidence, folks. Swear to God.
Pure coincidence. Pure coincidence.
Beauty and brains. What do you know?
Oh yeah. All right. So without further ado, BlueDragonFive, I believe we have some honorable mentions to go over.
Sure. Okay, so folks, obviously we got our top 10, but then there were some that just kind of they were so great, but they just couldn't quite make the list, but they deserve a little bit of a brief mention. So let's go in descending order from honorable mention number 3. Want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
So I picked Major Dr. Ghastly from Evil Con Carne.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure who that character is.
Well, point is, I really wanted to get Greta Lyles on this list somehow, and she was
of course you do.
I wanted to get Greta Lyles on there somehow, and I picked Major Dr. Ghastly because I do love that character. I put her on the animated females list, but she's kind of a cheat. That's why she's on the honorable mentions, because she's only a mother by happenstance, because in that show, Tiki, the idea is she and Hector, are the brain and the bear. You get the gist of it. Basically, in the future,
I've watched enough of it to get at least that. Yeah.
Basically, in the future, they had a kid together. Like the kid's like a time traveler. He travels back in time, and I just love kind of like she's an awesome mom in the episodes when that kid shows up. Pretty much like she's basically Hector shoots him down because he's ashamed that his son is a hero and not a villain. And then Major Dr. Ghastly on the side there, she loves him because it's her son. Come on, and she helps him out. She gives him like the superpowered suit and everything. She says, don't tell your father. Yeah, it's adorable. So I always have a soft spot for Major Dr. Ghastly in some ways. I squeezed her on there somehow,
Yeah, when it comes to that sort of duo of shows, I'm definitely more familiar with Billy and Mandy. But even then, I didn't really watch that much of Billy and Mandy. I never did get into the Hector Con Carne side. So, okay, I guess my first honorable mention will be, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and have to go with someone, BlueDragonFive. I know you mentioned not to go with mother figures, but I'm sorry, I have to. I have to give it up to Garnet. I have to give it up to Garnet from Steven Universe, because she is just amazing and awesome. And basically the whole thing with Steven Universe is that we've got the 3 main Crystal Gem characters. We've got Pearl, we've got Amethyst, and then we've got Garnet. Amethyst is a little bit aggressive and, kind of rough and tumble. Pearl is kind of the opposite. She's kind of like more restrained, kind of like, kind of obsessed with order and everything and keeping Steven in line. Garnet is the combination of both of their personalities, where Garnet kicks major ass. She is by far the strongest character on the show. And yet she is also the most genuinely motherly towards Steven. And she is the one that most encourages his skills and most encourages his powers. So I won't talk that much about Garnet, because honestly, like, there's a lot of stuff to do with their character that's kind of spoilery. But that's all I'll say. I just couldn't resist throwing a mention in there. She's just an awesome character. I can't really describe her until until you kind of watch the show for yourself and get to know her personality. It's just her kind of like laid back but still super serious, like very like very almost kind of Shakespearean dialogue mixed with kind of like this laid back, fun-loving personality that really makes her shine. I'm very sorry about my hiccups, by the way. I'm very sorry. This is totally unprofessional.
You got some water or something?
Yeah, hold on. Let me try. Anyways, what's your second honorable mention?
Okay, my second honorable mention. I hope I kind of wrote down her name in a rush, and it's been a while, so I hope I get her name right. I believe it's Chicha from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yes. I picked Chicha because she's an underrated mom. She's one of the few surviving Disney moms.
Yeah,
and she had a cool character. One, she's voiced by I always love this person, but I can never remember their name. Like they're in a bunch of stuff. She's one of the main ones in Hot in Cleveland. She's a voice. I guess not the youngest one, but like the comparatively youngest one. Point is, this voice actor's always been kind of fair of mine. She's been in shows like Fillmore. She's been in some good movies, some bad movies too, like bad movies like The Alvin and the Chipmunks, Squeakquel.
Oh God! Oh no!
Point is, an illustrious career, but big on Hot in Cleveland. Point is, I loved her in this role because she played kind of a mother who was like a really loving wife. We saw to Pache. She was always like, he came home after a long day and she was smart enough to realize, oh wait, hey, what's wrong? And she was very take charge when it came down to her. Like the villains ascended upon her house, and she took it like a champ. She worked the whole game plan with the kids and everything. I mean, she's smart as a whip, this mother. And plus, she was pregnant too. I mean, we rarely see that in the Disney movies.
Of course. Yeah, you're right. She is very she's one of the stronger mothers that we see in the Disney canon, and she's very underrated because the whole movie is kind of like David Spade and then Yzma, and of course you got Patrick Warburton just hamming it up. So I feel like even John Goodman kind of gets lost in the shuffle of that movie, let alone John Goodman's wife. You know what I mean?
My point is, yeah, it's everyone. You're right, Tig. Everyone is fantastic in that movie, and just with that said, she delivers a genuine performance that was well balanced with John Goodman's genuine performance as Pache. It's just this like two moments in particular. One is just love the moment where she's like, she realizes there's something wrong and she comforts him. It's such a genuine moment. Like, hey, Pache, what's wrong? It's such a moving scene. Again, there was a lot of moving scenes in that movie.
She's like the anti-Skylar White.
Exactly, and she was pregnant too. And of course, the other thing is I just love this because I love Patrick Warburton in that movie. I love Krunk. I just love how basically in the ruse, like to get rid of Yzma, Krunk, he's not a bad guy. He doesn't get like mistreated by the kids or anything. He's playing with jump rope with and everything.
That is just delightful. Oh,
and one of the best parts is like she doesn't know how to perceive Krunk exactly. Krunk's well, this is nice. We should have another one of these families. She's not trying she's not viewing him as like evil monster. No, he's like, oh, this guy's a little lost, but he's nice.
But he is indeed 100% genuine with her, which is a hilarious part.
Exactly.
Oh God. Okay. I guess my number 2 honorable mention. This is a mother that very much is not your typical kind of like, yay, go mom, like super mom. In fact, she's kind of the opposite. I feel like the fun of the character is kind of like how bad of a mother she is. So for that reason alone, I decided to put Charlotte Pickles among my honorable mentions. What do you think of this?
Yeah, Charlotte's fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the word that I go to. Out of all the adult characters on Rugrats, I think she's got the most personality. She's got the most humor to her. I'll never forget watching Rugrats Go Wild for the first time a couple years ago when that moment where her cell phone gets thrown in the water and she just jumps overboard after it. I was like, oh my God.
The thing with the genius with Charlotte Pickles, real quick, is that she was the only parent, aside from Stu, really, on the Rugrats. Aside from Stu and I guess Chaz by proxy, but mainly in terms of the women on the show, in terms of the females. She had the most definition. In terms of she had an interesting job. We got a few good stories out of that. Like one of my favorites is like when she takes Angelica and Tommy to the office, and they cause havoc and mayhem.
Sure.
Yeah, you can see kind of like Charlotte just kind of put in a position where business can't come before her home life necessarily. It's like, she's her job lent to a lot of like creative situations and some points. Like the high executive mother, which would explain why she's this. At least there was some explanation to why she was a little distant, a little distracted, otherwise from Dee Dee, who was just a pinhead.
We've all gone on record in saying that we'd rather dislike Dee Dee. Yes.
Seriously, I mean, Dee Dee, I know you're trying, but you're dumb as a sack of rocks, lady.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Okay. Yeah, with Charlotte, for me, like I said, she's just like you put it really good. Out of all the adult characters on Rugrats, I feel like she lent herself the most to kind of like standalone stories. And I feel like they did a lot with her over the years. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. On All Grown Up, she was definitely one of the most enjoyable characters on that whole show.
It has been ages since I've seen All Grown Up. I forget what Charlotte did in that series.
Well, basically, she would like, I remember she would like try and like buddy up with Chucky a lot because she knew how smart Chucky was. So she wanted to kind of take Chucky under her wing a little bit. And so, she was kind of like the aging kind of corporate mom who was wanting to still be cool and still be hip. So she actually got a lot of development in that show too. So props to her.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, my number one honorable mention. Now this one, I notice I have a lot of underrated. I think I would say to an extent I have a few underrated moms on my list, and I'm proud of that. And I think one that kind of is I remembered recently because I remember how I was watching an episode to refresh myself on this mother. And I just remembered how great a show this was, especially for kids, which makes me think maybe one of these days we should do like top 10 kid shows or something, like specifically aimed towards children shows. Mm-hmm. But she's the mother from George Shrinks, Perdita Shrinks.
I have never heard of that show in my life.
Yeah, basically, Tiki, here's the coolest thing about the show. It's done by
That's okay. My number one honorable mention is going to be something you've never heard of either, so that's fine.
Point is, George Shrinks is a show done by William Joyce. You know William Joyce.
Refresh my memory.
Rise of the Guardians. I believe.
Rise of the Guardians. Okay.
I want to say Polar Express.
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, he's got kind of like the Meet the Robinsons. That's him too.
Robinsons. Okay.
Yeah, kind of the swirly style, like the rosy cheeks. That's his like the 50s.
Solid resume.
Oh, and also he helped out and designed some Toy Story characters and stuff. Point is that. Really good. Yeah, really good guy. Really imaginative. He was also Roly Poly. That was his too.
Okay.
Point is, William Joyce is always a really creative mind. You get the shows like filled with so many great creative ideas. Fantastic for children, right? And the show you definitely got to show kids. But the point is, like the mother in this show has always had really interesting. What they do, they were so creative about this show, is that the parents had these really cool, distinctive personalities. Just every element of the show was just so creative because it's coming from Joyce's mind. Like basically, what if a kid was the thing is, I don't even know if I can't even say he's 10 inches tall. He's just really, really tiny, like Ant-Man size. Not Ant-Man size, but he's a little bigger than Ant-Man, but not by much.
So essentially, the whole show is like Ant-Man without the superhero element. But
I mean, he's about as big as he's about as big as your finger, Tiki. That's about how big the kid is. I don't know.
Okay.
Point is, with that said, like the father's like a jazz musician who's also an inventor. Like he's an inventor who loves jazz, and his mother was like an artist. With that said, like mother was just Perdita Smith was always kind of this fun mother who was just really kind of really creative, really colorful. Like she loved. It's like that's where George Shrinks gets his inventiveness from himself. You see the blending of the parents' personalities with him, like kind of the inventiveness of the father and like the artistic kind of creativity coming from the mother. And the mother was always like the most supportive, really nice. I mean, she's just really kind of quirky and nice. Like she was just like didn't have a whole lot of dimension to her, but she was just really pleasant. I was rewatching. I was just like, and she is so pleasant. That Perdita Shrinks.
All right.
He has a name like Perdita. Come on, that has to count for something.
That's also the name of the mother Dalmatian and 101 Dalmatians, if I remember correctly.
The point is just a lot of nostalgia for this character. And yeah, she gets lost in the shuffling because people have forgotten about George Shrinks like yourself.
Yeah, I have. No. What network did it even air on? Because this is the first time I am hearing about it.
I know it repeated, but it's like one of those PBS type deals where they air it on some station, like another similar to PBS station, like not MTV, MPT.
So like Sprout or something like that.
Well, I mean, at some point, I'm sure it went to Sprout. No longer is it on, obviously, but it's like it's like one of the things they bounce around the networks a bit.
Okay, so it's a syndicated kind of deal.
Yeah, but like PBS was definitely a place where it appeared. You know, they had these weird deals where they would like they appear on like a few networks at the same time.
Right. No, I mean I'll definitely look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, the episodes
Uh,
on YouTube just like they're kind of like a little full screener than you would like.
okay. So I guess my number one honorable mention is I just picked this as an honorable mention just because the film is so recent and not a lot of people have probably seen it. But I picked the mother from The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, which was the Studio Ghibli film that was nominated for Best Animated Film this past Academy Awards. A lot of people kind of were like, what, it's the dumb Princess Hand movie that got nominated over the Lego movie? No, shut up. Shut up. Honestly, if anything shouldn't have gotten nominated over the Lego movie, it was Big Hero 6, and Big Hero 6 won. So I won't even open that can of worms. But, no, actually, BlueDragonFive, if you watch The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, it is fantastic. It is like, if you have a 3-hour time investment, you know, because it is a long movie, it's sweeping, it's epic, but it's also emotional. It's beautiful. The watercolor kind of Japanese artistry just really pops off the screen. But the mother character, I don't want to give away too much of the plot because the plot just kind of slowly reveals itself as the film goes on. And it's almost kind of like a tapestry. But the mother character is essentially the one who's very much, the father character very much wants to keep the princess in royalty. Like, that's his whole thing. He, you know, his whole thing is that he worked hard to get into a position of royalty, and he wants the princess to act like royalty. The princess herself comes from humble beginnings, so her whole personality clash is not fitting in with the kind of royal lifestyle. You know, she kind of, she was essentially raised in the woods, so she would like, you know, the first half hour, 45 minutes or so is just her playing in the woods with her childhood friends, which is really nice. You know, it's like I like the way that the film kind of just eases you into these situations. But the thing I like about the mother character is that throughout all the father being kind of a douche, and he does come around at the end, and we do like him. You know, he's not entirely a bad guy. He kind of reminds me of Stoic from the first How to Train Your Dragons. You know, he's against the main character, but not for reasons that we can't sympathize with. But the mother is just always supportive, very quiet, very down to earth, but just leaves a big impression. And I just want to put her on there just because I fully recommend that film as a whole. And that's it.
All right.
So I guess we get into our official list then. What's your number 10?
Okay, my number 10, Kala.
Kala. All right, good choice. Good choice.
Now it was a pain to rank these because a lot of these mothers are really good. So towards the end, it gets really hard, but you know, we'll get there. But still, even these 10, I kind of rank them by kind of you know, memorability, but also kind of parenting styles and stuff like that, like how great a mother they were. And they're all great, mind you. I want to make that clear. Again, they're top tier, top 10. So
that's why I had to put Charlotte Pickles as honorable mention, because by all intents and purposes, she is not a great mother.
Yeah, again, that's why I kind of put Perdita Shrinks on there, because I mean she's good, but then again she still kind of fits into like the Dottie mother and father dynamic. But at least they're cool though. They're not like the Turners or anything. The Turners suck as parents.
Oh God, no! The Turners would make the list of the top 10 worst parents.
I mean, at least the Shrinks matter over the Turners. The Turners are just like they're idiot plot devices.
Sure. Okay.
Anyway, so Kala, oh my God, Kala was such a great character. It gets overlooked a lot in the Disney lore. I mean, she, she's Tarzan's adoptive ape mother. You know, she found them again. She's kind of like, in a way, if you're going to compare, like, if you compare Tarzan like Superman, you know, she's the Pa Kent. You know, she's the Ma and Pa Kent. Find him in the
I hope she's not a sociopath like Man of Steel Pa Kent was. I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
Anyway, point is, so Tarzan, you know, unfortunately his parents are killed by a subordinate leopard, and then then, Kala, she just kind of hears this baby's coo or cry, and like she runs all the way there really heroically. Could have used a little less Phil Collins music, but okay, I'm not gonna drudge that up.
Okay, but one thing about the Phil Collins music, though, is that it did give us that famous "You'll Be in My Heart" scene.
Yeah, which I gotta tell you, I mean, I like, the "You'll Be in My Heart" thing, I think it gets a little overplayed. Not in the score. Scores, it's fine with the score. It's just when it's
I
actually
think
sang.
"You'll Be in My Heart" is essentially kind of like the equivalent to "Let It Be," where it's a damn good song in the context of the movie.
Do you mean
Like,
Let It Go?
in the context of the movie, it is like the emotional centerpiece, just like "Let It Be" is. The problem was it just got so much radio airplay.
Do you mean Let It Go?
Yes, I mean "Let It Go."
Keep saying "Let It Be." You're
wow. Let it be, let it be. Okay, yeah.
Man, that song sounds so
for some
different
reason.
But
my mistake.
Then I kind of get your point. I'm saying the scene itself where she sings it to him, I gotta tell you, it feels a little schmaltzy. But you're right, in context of the movie. I mean, the emotions in the scene are good. It's just that one particular is her singing. I don't know.
Well, at least it's not Phil Collins singing. At least it's actually her singing.
And I'm a defender of the Phil Collins stuff. It's just kind of cool background music now and again. But
I am not a defender of Phil Collins and Brother Bear, though.
No, of course not. Oh, that's god awful. No.
I am singing over the emotions that you're supposed to be feeling.
All right, but back to Kala.
That moment, and I'm singing over it. This is the emotions you should be feeling.
We got
all
it.
Right.
Anyway, Phil Collins aside, point is it's a really moving scene. Kala, she takes baby Tarzan under her wing, and of course with great danger associated. We never saw that in the Superman lore of the baby gets found and then attacked by the danger surrounding. That didn't happen.
That's true. We have never seen that.
I love this thing. She finds this kid. She's intrigued, but yeah, it's ape finding human. And it's just kind of like twirling the baby around. It's making a noise like a cute little bond just starts to develop between you two. Like, hey, you're different to me, and you're all alone here. I should protect this. I should protect this being of some sort. And then literally attacked by a leopard. So she is kind of in danger for her child. So we see Kala. She's really brave, and she does everything she can to protect this thing. She realized that. They see the leopard tracks and everything, and they're like blood-covered leopard tracks in that house, and she knows what's awaiting this kid if that leopard gets in there. So it's like, no, I have to save this. I have to save her. So Kala's always been like a really strong kind of like she's the reason we have Tarzan, the reason why Tarzan's all about saving people in a way, because he was saved himself by Kala.
Of course.
She just kind of epitomizes the sacrifice for a child, and then later on in the thing, it's just this great bit where like. She just kind of has the great kind of, as the years go by, mother dynamic going for her. Like, she fights to have him in the family against Kerchak, and it's always that thing like, father doesn't like me. Oh, he'll learn, Tarzan. He'll learn.
Of course, yeah.
She's always that great
against segregation in the movie.
Yeah, she's that great kind of doting mother who, like, even in the Tarzan cartoon, she was always that kind of like, she's the mother that Tarzan always has great reverence for because of what she's done for him and how much he cares for over the years, and like he's always that kind of that rock Tarzan goes back to.
Sure.
She's always like a strong. Plus, she's voiced by the wonderful Glenn Close. I mean, come on.
I love the moment where she sees him when he's all dressed up in man clothing.
Oh yeah, and there's that great moment where Tarzan goes over to her and says, "You will never not be my mother."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good stuff. Really
just Kala was like on some level she was afraid. That's half the reason she didn't tell him. She was afraid that he might leave.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 10. It's kind of a jokey pick, and I don't really have a lot to say about this character, but Mrs. Detweiler from Recess. Yeah. Honestly, I'm just going to be straight up. The reason why I put this character on my top 10 list is that she just reminds me of so many mothers that I knew growing up. Like mothers of like my friends and stuff like that when I would go over to their houses, because she just had such a pleasant kind of quirky personality. Like, oh, TJ, I don't know. And I just like her voice. And she just like, whenever I think of her, I just think of like actual kids that I used to know. And that's kind of the beauty of Recess in a way, is that it kind of recreates that sort of elementary school environment so well. And I feel like Mrs. Detweiler is like a perfect representation of like the home life. So I don't remember like a ton of standout scenes from her or anything, but I just remember her always being a funny presence and always just kind of being a reminder of other mothers of friends that I used to know. So that's why I put her on.
Nah.
Okay, so I guess what's your number 9?
Okay, my number 9. Number 9, it's like I kind of I tossed this one around because she's not really technically there, but she's more like she's in flashback because she's not in the series. But
oh, I definitely have a character like that, so don't worry.
The point is, I put in, she's such a great presence when she is there and when she's talking about. Even when she's not there, she's such a great presence. I picked Zuko's mom from Avatar: Last Airbender.
Okay.
So let me explain. Ursa, to be specific, I believe it's Ursa, the wife of Ozai, daughter-in-law. They always have fancy kind of like the titles. Basically, there's a funeral for the old Fire Lord, and they basically have this funny pronunciation of like when they toss the crown down to the next guy in line.
Oh.
It's just like the whole daughter-in-law of Azulan. Ursa, the wife of Ozai. It's like this funny. Just they go through like all the relations and everything.
Sounds kind of Thor-ish.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah. Anyway, so basically, here's Ursa's deal. Ursa's deal is like she mysteriously disappeared in the Avatar universe, and she's gone, and we assumed died or was killed off, but we find out she just went missing. And I'm not going to spoil like what eventually became of her. That's like in this comic called The Search. It was pretty good, and if you've seen the Savage Creek, they have referenced it.
Okay.
But the point is, Ursa was this great motherly figure in Zuko's life. She was the reason why he's not a complete bad guy, because he was the regular kid, loving mother who just kind of.
I hear you.
No, he's great, but there's like this one particular bit, like she's like your classic mom saying, "Well, listen, why don't you play with your sister?" Even though the really interesting dynamic with Ursa is that she had 2 kids. One was real nice, Zuko, and the other one was a real kind of girl destined for kind of a real bratty and eventually evil path. And the thing that's really explored after she's gone in the series is like there's like this great episode in season 3 called The Beach, where Zuko, they're all the Fire Nation kids are on the beach kind of airing out their grievances, and of course Zuko and Azula, their brother and sister, and air out memories about their parents. And Azula kind of had always thought that her mother didn't like her because she saw a monster in her. And the thing is, like Azula, even like when she loses it towards the end of that season, she goes a little crazy, as she's been going crazy already in the series because she's such an ominous presence. Again, voiced by Greta Lyles. She at one point hallucinates that her mother's there, and just the twisted things like her mother. I can only assume this is true, and this is just Azula's memory of that and how she interprets it. That her mother is saying, "Oh, Azula, I love you. I don't hate you, Azula. I love you." And so Azula throws stuff at the glass and everything. She's hallucinating this, and she's just losing it. So the point is, Azula's Ursa was just this mother who was like, really, really sporting kind of your classic mom. And there was a grand sacrifice here. She had to, she's married to an evil man. She's married to Fire Lord Ozai, who's a horrible guy who literally tried to kill his father. And Ursa kind of the implication was that Ursa had to kill a father so Ozai would not kill Zuko. So she sacrificed that for her child. It was ambiguous whether he killed him or not, but I think she led to his demise.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, like, there's this great scene where earlier on, like the scene where Zuko is feeding the turtle ducks. How they blend the animals in the Avatar universe.
Yeah, sure.
As a kid, he's like feeding the turtle ducks with his mother. He's like, "Hey, you want to see how Azula feeds turtle ducks?" He throws like a big rock in there, and like the mother turtle duck like tries to snap it out, like bites his heel and something, and the mother like shoos him off and says, "Well, Zuko, what are you doing like that?" No. That's what mothers are prepared to do for their children. They'll attack anyone who threatens their children. And like it's a cute little moment that they're laughing and having a good time. And then of course, as the episode progresses, like a flashback in Zuko's past, we see that there was like a night where Ozai overheard that his brother Uncle Iroh, was going to get the throne because he was the older one. He lost the son in combat, and like the Azulan, like the grandfather, was like, no, you can't ascend to the throne, Ozai. He lost the son. How dare you ask me this? So Ozai crafted a plan. I'll kill my son, so I also lost somebody. So now I'll ascend to the throne. So then it was just the dead of night. Right, I'll wrap it up right here. Basically, dead of night. Ursa comes in, and it's like such a sad scene of like after Azula just come in, just mocking Zuko, saying, "Dad's gonna kill you." He is. really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Just after that, and after Zuko's like petrified, it's like, okay, Zuo always lies, Zuo always lies, Zuo always lies. Poor little Zuko. And his mother comes in dead and like wakes him up. He's like kind of groggy and says, Zuko, just remember, I love you. And basically, the implication being she's done something terrible and she has to leave now, or to protect Zuko. Basically, debt has been sworn against Ursa and her father. So the point is, there's always an air of mystery around Ursa, and like she did all this to protect her son. And eventually, there was a happy ending in the search between these two.
Okay.
She went through all this to protect her son. There's just such a bond that was there, even though she wasn't there. So that's a real strong mother figure, I think. If she still just motivates one of our most likable characters, she's the reason that Zuko has a soul in a way.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, Avatar is definitely something I've been meaning to kind of catch myself up on now that I'm
Hello? Tiki. Yeah, and he's going. Oh, hello.
Yes, I'm freezing up again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's freezing.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, now that I've kind of gotten into kind of a serialized animated shows like Gravity Falls and whatnot, I do feel like it's time for me to fully sit down with Avatar. So maybe I will do that over the summer or something like that. Anyways, my number 9 choice, this comes from a show that is very nostalgic to me, and it's a woman who she's kind of like the good version of Charlotte Pickles in that she's very career motivated, and yet she's always there for her family, unlike Charlotte Pickles. So give it up to Marianne Thornberry. Oh, Marianne, yeah. Oh yeah, how can you not love Marianne? She's I love how career driven she is. Like I said, it's like she is all about her husband. She is she is the perfect wife to Nigel Thornberry, because not any woman could be freaking married to Nigel Thornberry and put up with all his crap. But she loves it. It's like she adores him. And she adores all the adventures that they go on. But the great thing about her character is that she is kind of the concerned parent at the same time. So even though she will go out of her way to get the best shot and whatever, she's still, at the end of the day, she's like, okay, we have to kind of go back because, yeah, there might be, some poachers after Eliza or something like that. So, really a good representation of a career woman who still is very much there for her kids, has a real fun quality to her, has an exciting, adventurous side to her, while still definitely defining a lot of motherly traits. What do you think about her, really quick?
Oh yeah, big thing with Marianne is like she serves a very important role in the source of income within Thornberry's. At least their big occupation. She's the camera woman. She's, I think in the opening too, it's like there's this bit where like Nigel's running away or something, and he's holding her or something while she's still shooting. Am I right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The point is, like, she's really dedicated to her craft because she realizes the importance of her job. Well, she has to shoot these things, and of course,
yeah, she's an artist. I mean, Nigel Thornberry is kind of like the guy who just kind of gloats in front of the camera, but she's the person that really puts it together.
Of course, you got to imagine kind of the element of danger in her job too. Of like,
of course.
Oh man, I mean, I'm going to be faced with God knows like how many intimidating animals. I'm still, plus my husband's going to be in front there, and basically the whole Steve Irwin thing could happen, and we don't.
Oh God. Right.
But basically, I have to watch if anything horrible happens to him too. So there's a lot of danger, a lot of risk there. But again, she has to have some sort of passion to keep on doing that, and of course, uproot her family to do that. So she has a real dedication to this craft, and it's kind of a big strength in their relationship and big kind of strengthening bond between their and their family. They all have to be on board for this, or else it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I love about her. Well put. All right, so what is your number 8?
Hey, my number 8. I'm still kind of in the Avatar / Korra-verse here, because my next one is
keep it brief.
Sorry about Ursa. Okay, Ursa, she's kind of hard to sell you on a quick.
No, I understand. Like, trust me, I have a character that's way down on my list. That's very much like you never see her in the actual show, but you very much feel her presence. So I hear you.
Versus my only complex one. Anyways, the one is the next one is Senna, who is Korra's mom in Legend of Korra. She doesn't appear that often.
Okay.
She's always she's really underrated. I always love just kind of the simple scenes where she's just kind of there, and she gives like these really motherly moments between her and Korra of like Korra's been through something traumatic, and her mother's just there for this beacon of support, and kind of just like she's like kind of your everyday mom whose kid happens to be the Avatar. You know, it's like one of the most adorable things, like when the guys at the beginning of Korra, they walk by and they see well, wait, so is your child, so I hear your child's the Avatar. It's just, oh yeah, she is. Like, she's like, oh boy, yeah, she can do all this wacky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just she's really sweet. She's underplayed. She doesn't really have anything to do until like season 2 and a bit of 3. And season 2 is like you go to Korra's hometown. That's where she is, and like she's worried about. And then in season 2, they go back to the Korra's tribe, and pretty much like her father's wrapped up in things, and like her father gets arrested, and like she's really these scenes of like her mother just worried in between the two of them. Like there's this really more Korra kind of breaks down with her parents, and just Senna always offers these words of advice in terms of like, you know, hey Korra, listen, we're always going to be here to support you. Just kind of these really just very comforting. Like the best scene real quick is like in the 3rd season where she Korra at this point has been not paralyzed, but she's like in a wheelchair, and she's been through a really traumatic and near-death experience. And there's just this really great moment of like her mother just kind of like visiting Korra like out on the terrace or something, just like saying, "Hey Korra, listen, it means the world to us that you're still alive." You know, it's just really just comforting words. That's what.
So it seems to me like her whole character is kind of like just accepting the, you know, the dangerous position that her daughter is put in, and kind of you know, coming to grips with it and supporting it.
Yeah, and like actually, it's not 3; it's book 4 in a flashback. That's what I'm thinking of. But it's just that. It's just that moment of like she knows there's something up with her daughter, and she comes at her because Korra's like, it's like post-traumatic stress. You know, she just won't acknowledge she has a problem. And it's like she's distant from it, like she hasn't eaten or slept in days, and like you come at her and say, Korra, I know there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. So that sort of thing. And she's just a really understated. She doesn't have a lot to do. Once she says something, Korra, it's always a really good scene between those two when that happens. She's very underrated. I just want to give her some credit there. That's why I really do love it when she shows up.
All right, fair enough. Okay, speaking of underrated, that's a good transitioning point to my number 8 pick. This is a Pixar character that I feel got a lot of hate, mostly just because of shitty marketing. So, without further ado, I introduce the best mother in the Pixar canon, Eleanor from Brave. Yeah! BlueDragonFive, I was one of the very, 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 very few people who, when I saw that the plot of Brave was Eleanor turning into the bear, I was actually kind of delighted.
I was also delighted.
Because I love pantomime animation. I just do, you know what I mean? So that's what we got a lot of with that. We got, like, I just love the idea of this bear who, throughout the first half of the movie, we're introduced to this woman who's obviously, you know, very elegant, very proper, you know, and then she gets turned into a bear, and she still has all her mannerisms intact, and I just think that's hilarious, and I love everything that the animators did with it. Was it mismarketed? Of course it was mismarketed. That movie was the biggest marketing botch in Pixar's history.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, though, BlueDragonFive, Brave is definitely the mother-daughter movie, arguably of the entire Disney canon. Would you say?
I'm sorry?
Would you say that Brave is probably the definitive mother-daughter movie of the entire Disney canon?
Yeah, I've always kind of thought of it as kind of like if Finding Nemo is the ultimate Father's Day movie, then Brave is probably one of the ultimate Mother's Day movies.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
you know, it's essentially it's kind of Pixar's. It's basically kind of their take of a female version of Nemo. You know, it's like we saw the most moving story imagined between father and son. Now we see one of the most moving experiences we have between mother and daughter, and like it's a realistic the portrayal of that, of like, you know, like mother and daughter, they don't see eye to eye, because, you know, like I'm not saying it's that every way. I'm just saying I'm thinking like Freaky Friday and stuff like that, where it's like the mother just doesn't see.
Oh, I look like the Crypt Keeper.
You know, it's just like a realistic thing of what women just, they don't as like they don't get the younger generation versus the older generation because there's perspective in there of like, mother has seen this, she gets it, she's been through a lot, she's settled down, she has kids, so she's been through the experience that a daughter is a little more though than a son destined to go through literally. So like, hey, one of these days you're going to be settled down, all that stuff, and I'm not ready for that yet. So it's that dynamic through a Pixar perspective of like, she wants to be not just a tomboy, but she wants to be an archer, be a warrior, be kind of like embrace the fun side, and the mother's saying, hey, listen, you got to settle down, you have a role here, a title. And just it's funny, Pixar's taking like the princess aspect of it. It's like it's like the one princess who does not want to be a princess in the by proxy Disney film ever.
Well, I'd say maybe besides Jasmine, arguably.
Well, I mean, no, it's like Jasmine doesn't mind being a princess. She just doesn't like the lifestyle. But I mean, it's like someone who actually really does not want to be a princess.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, she's just kind of on my list because I feel like everyone kind of craps on that movie specifically because of her, when I actually think she's one of the stronger parts of the movie. So
and again, it's just
really underrated.
The best thing about it is when she does turn into the bear, just the pure comedy of like a woman being turned into another animal, of like just the panic that again, the animation on the bear is one of the most delightful things about Brave. Is like, oh my,
it really is, and it never gets any credit.
Yeah, I mean I was floored and just so happy when that reveal happened. Like, oh my god, this turned into a hilarious movie now.
right.
It's just now it's actually found what it's. That's what there was a hair of brilliance within the mark in terms of we never saw this coming. That's kind of part of the.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's why I loved it.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so one of the really great things Eleanor is that eventually she does come around through the arc of like mother and daughter bonding over these really unusual circumstance, and just by the end, it's just it does come together a little not sloppily, but it could be a little tighter knit, but it does come together in the end really nicely.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number 7?
Okay, my number 7. Here's an iconic one. Bunny Bravo from Johnny.
Oh, mama.
Exactly. So I mean, just pretty much, Bunny Bravo. She's just really kind of she's just iconic and fun. She's just this. Whatever Johnny's catchphrase literally always hinges on mama in the word there. So obviously Johnny Bravo's mother is going to have an important role in anything. Just the idea that Johnny Bravo is a dumb lummox as he is, who tries to meet women and do all his usual stuff. At the core of it, he's just a kid who really does have a fondness for his mother. He would never want to hurt his mother in any way. She's just like an authoritative figure in a good way for him. Like, she knows what's best for Johnny. He's a meathead.
Johnny, let's go save your mama.
Don't make me laugh. Oh, the best episode ever. But no, but seriously, it's just with that episode, just episodes like that, just the idea that Johnny Bravo, he's just such a dumb guy that his mother, who he knows, again, he knows his mother like the bag of sand. His mother's like this wonderful aspect in his life. He like takes care of this dumb guy. How can you not like her for that? And she loves Johnny no matter what shenanigans he gets into. And no matter what mess he gets into, how kind of odd and quirky he is, she loves him for that because it's her son, and she knows, deep down he's really nice, but women don't give him the chance. And just one of the most hilarious things is when Johnny he's so in tune with his mother that she doesn't come home at 6 on the dot. He instantly goes to she's been kidnapped and sees help out of the West. And at the end, just his mother, like, she goes to bail him out of prison because she has all the utmost faith in him. He says, "Oh, my little boy." It's just this adorable mother figure who just that's all her character really is, just the mother figure. But she always has these quirky things, like she likes a singer and she wins a little contest. She's always the plot motivator.
Of course, yeah.
Just Bunny Bravo. She's always just kind of fun and adorable, and just kind of a good. You get to see where Johnny gets some of his thickness from, but still just like the thick-headedness from, and then she's just kind of set on whatever she's doing at the moment. That's where kind of Johnny gets that kind of distractibility. But again, this is like a true kind of devotion between each two. It's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, my number 7, BlueDragonFive. This is the one that scarred me. This is like the Bambi's mom of my generation. You ready? Yeah. Oh, God.
And you'll notice Bambi's mom is not on this list because she's dead.
Well, so is this person. Littlefoot's mom.
Oh. Well, I was kidding about stupidly kidding about the Bambi's mom thing.
Littlefoot's mom is on this list over Bambi's mom just because, like I said, I grew up with Land Before Time way more than I grew up with Bambi. I watched Bambi a couple times. I appreciate Bambi mostly as an artistic piece, way more so than a narrative piece or a character piece. Land Before Time, though, I mean, just God, what a way to suck you into a character and his relationship with his mother in the first 10 minutes and then just rip it out from you.
Well, look,
just rip it out violently.
Littlefoot's mom had much more to do than Bambi's mom, so it's understandable why you'd go for that one.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what can be said? It's like Littlefoot's mom is, like, in the first 10 minutes of that movie, she is the savior. You know, she is the person who is keeping that kid alive. And she's teaching him everything, you know, and just her presence, just the animation on her, how larger than life she is. And then, of course, when she gets taken down by that shark tooth, and then we have that iconic scene, that crushing scene that I still to this day feel that the Lion King kind of ripped off, where Littlefoot is, you know, talking with his dying mother. Oh man, it's too much, BlueDragonFive. It's just too much.
I gotta wonder why Littlefoot
wasn't sad.
I gotta wonder why Littlefoot wasn't more hesitant to trust that one sharp-toothed kid from the other God knows how many Land Before Time movies.
I stopped watching after 2, so I would.
You were lucky. I had more.
Oh god, yeah.
But
he was the only one I remember.
It just to say, got more and more ridiculous as time progressed. But you remember, I think it even in 2, like look at the extended family, like grandparents.
Well, yeah, I mean the grandparents were very briefly in the original, but yeah, they became and it makes sense that they would become Littlefoot's primary caregivers, you know, because that is what was set up at the end of the first movie.
True. No, it makes sense.
I mean, like I said, Littlefoot's mother, she doesn't get that much screen time, but I do think in the grand scheme of things, like for this generation, she is going to go down as the Bambi's mom.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. Tiki is an absolutely powerful scene when she, when she says goodbye to Littlefoot. Oh man, hugely important scene.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it just let me say, the original Land Before Time, it is such a shame that those sequels have tarnished that movie's reputation, because that movie still to this day is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. I will stand by that. That movie is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's your number 6?
Yeah, my number 6, Drew Saturday from Secret Saturdays.
Okay, another thing I vaguely heard of it.
I can't speak too knowledgeably on this one because I've seen a few episodes and I know the character to an extent. But again, it's more so I love I love a lot of aspects of this character, but I'm very unfamiliar with the whole how the show went and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember I really love the concept of the Secret Saturdays. It always looks really kind of interesting. I'd like to explore it at some point, but we'll see. Point is, Drew Saturday. This show had a great kind of idea. It was like the. Are you familiar with the term cryptozoic at all?
No, I am not.
Cryptozoic essentially is like kind of like a magical monstery creature of some variety.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking. So cryptozoology, then.
Pretty much, yeah. And
okay.
the idea is like
I've been into that a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it myself except for what I've seen in this show, pretty much. And I hear
I've done a bit of research on it, but that's just because I'm obsessed with the paranormal in general.
Anyway, so if I'm remembering this correctly, essentially it's a scientist and his wife who are really action heavy too, so like really good action between these two. And their son, who's like he's either part cryptozoic or at least he has the ability to detect cryptozoics, like his visions and stuff.
Okay.
And they have some cryptozoic pals too. Like he has like his Chewbacca, who's like this guy called Fiskerton. Yeah, Fiskerton. Some iguana-looking thing. Again, folks, I'm ashamedly unfamiliar with this show, but so I do really love. I always loved. First of all, the voice cast playing the parents. I love Phil Morris as the father, and he's really cool looking. But I'd also, of course, love one of my voice acting favorites of voices, Drew Saturday and Nicole Sullivan. Oh, I love me some Nicole Sullivan. But seriously, Drew Saturday, she's like, first of all, she has a really fantastic design. She's like, they're all in these orange jumpsuits, like orange and black jumpsuits, and like she has a sword, and also she's got like this extent. Like she has a brother who was played by Will Friedle, kind of like the Boba Fett of the show in a way. And he's like kind of the awesome guy in the family. He's the adventurer. Point is, Drew Saturday, she's not a strict mother, but she's an average mother who's raising the family, but still she also can kick a lot of butt too. She has a sword, she does a lot of lot of cool action. She's the one who always kind of has to shoot the kid down, even though like the father and him might kind of like they lose it for a moment over like the scientific implications of what's going on. The kid's just the thrill seeker. Father's the scientist who loves the science, and also he's a bit of a thrill seeker too. And the idea is the mother kind of reins him in, but she's kind of the straight man of the group, but she also kicks a lot of butt too. And again, with the Nicole Sullivan sarcasm and wit all the time, it's just so great. And I love this also the little moments where she truly does care about her son too. Like if he's in danger, like she's like, okay, this is not good. We got to save him. Mm-hmm. She's like a really good, like you get it. It sounds like she's a good wife and a good mother in the show too. I really do like this character. We'll like to learn a little more about her, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
It's a really cool concept.
So my number 6 is the second Rugrats mother on this list. And no, it is not Dee Dee Pickles.
Thank God.
Honestly, I really gained a ton of respect for this character after going through Nicktoons Movie Month and watching the Rugrats movies, because I really do feel like she has more to do in the movies than she does in the show. But yeah, give it up to Betty DeVille, actually. Yeah. Now, of course, with Betty, I'm just gonna mention it. The big joke with her is like, "Oh, she's a lesbian," and I'm like, "No, just give that a rest."
No, she's just very butch. That's it. That's really it.
Yeah, I know. I love her though. I love her role in the Rugrats movie specifically because she is the one parent out of that entire idiot group of parents who actually takes charge and gets a handle on the situation and gets a search party out for those freaking babies. Yeah,
seriously, that's the thing. Even with Base Girl and other stuff too, for the most part, she is like the one who says, "Oh, but we got to do something here."
Right, exactly. She is like the one actual logical person, and she does have a fun personality. She really does. She's she's kind of a loudmouth a little bit. She's kind of a little bit of a bragger in certain aspects.
Her big defining character trait to you, she loves coffee.
Of course. At least she doesn't love smoothies.
As a kid, I just remember that was her big defining character. She loves Java. She's always like, "Hey, Dee, let's talk about this a cup of Joe or some Java." Always
and then she eventually started the what was it? That Java.
Yeah. Then all grown up, they run a coffee shop.
I don't even think it was all grown up. I think it started in late season Rugrats.
Late season they did everything.
Because because that was, I remember the Amanda Bynes like, "Oh no, you know how much I don't like dill pickles." The episode I always go back to. That was
it might be one of those production things too. Of like, it's kind of like how Batman Beyond aired at the same time the other Batman shows going, so they were inspired by each other. So like they would put hints of it in the past. So we don't know how the production went with that exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't necessarily know what the timeline.
Because then they did that stupid thing of like Angelica had a spin off with like Harold and Susie, like her in preschool. I don't know.
Yeah. Angelica and Susie's preschool days or something like that. Yeah. That
what were they thinking?
Like 5 episodes.
I really didn't like that Harold kid when he was a kid. I liked him a little better when he was just like Angelica's dumb sidekick.
Right. But no, I mean, I love Betty. I really do. I do. Like, we complain a lot about how the Rugrats parents are just stupid.
At least Betty was kind of funny. I mean, that's the thing she had.
Right. So I'd say out of all the Rugrats parents, I'd say she was by far the legitimate best parent.
That's just some kind of
parenting level.
Something kind of funny about Betty is that there's one episode where she's out of character in terms of how she usually is. It's the episode where it's a flashback to when the twins were filming Little in a commercial.
Okay.
And in that episode, Betty, she's like a stage parent. Like she's all like, "Oh well, we got," and she actually performs it very differently too. I don't know what the reason was, but like, I don't know how much predated how she eventually turned out. But point is, like, she was like kind of more of a prim and proper mother. She didn't have the kind of her butch thing wasn't there quite yet, so it was just more like.
Was it an early season episode?
Yeah, it was an early season episode. I don't know if it was intentionally done or it happened. It was a progression. I'm not sure. How Castanella eventually becomes like less Walter Matthau, more.
Oh God! Oh yeah!
That sort of stuff. But
you watch like season 1 or 2 Homer, and it is not the same.
Exactly, but I mean, with Betty, it was like this thing.
Let's go out for some frothy chocolate milkshakes.
Yeah, but I mean, like for Betty, it was like instead of just being, "Oh hey," like kind of like a butch Canadian. It's less butch Canadian. It's more.
Canadian, right?
It's less of that. As eventually turned, it was more so like it's kind of like distracted distracted blabbermouth mom. You know, just saying,
yeah, sure.
like, oh my god, my babies. So something like that. Pretty much like she was just faltered under pressure as soon as she found like what her kids like. At least she was the smart parent that realized, oh my god, my kids are in severe danger right now. But still.
All right, Blue Dragon 5. We were going to split this up into 2 parts, but I think we're going at a really good pace so far. So let's just keep going. What's your number 5?
Number 5, Valka from How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Oh, I love her. Oh, man. This is like the one pick where I messaged you earlier today, and I was like, hey, do you have Valka? And then you were like, yes. And I was like, damn it, I want Valka.
Well, if you told me before, I would have gave you her.
All right, so go off. What's so awesome about Valka?
Oh my god, so much great stuff with Valka. First of all, I like kind of like the build of her. If they didn't give away in the trailer, we might not have known. Like she was like this dragon-freeing vigilante. First of all, it's just cool on its face. Let's just say that right now.
At least I'm not boring.
So the idea is just that Valka was like the first Viking before Hiccup, is where he got it from. That she was the one who realized, oh man, dragons aren't so bad after all. I mean, they're like basically, Dragon had the perfect opportunity to eat Hiccup, but he didn't because he's an innocent creature. It's like, you know, tossing her back and forth, saying, "Aw." So Valka was like the first smart Viking, essentially. She was the one realizing, well, maybe instead of fighting these things, we try to either train them or domesticate them, or at least get to know them a little. And it paid off big time because, you know, Hiccup eventually he would realize kind of the same thing, and we have all of How to Train Your Dragon because of that. And Valka, we see just instantly she was coated in mystery because it was believed that she was whisked away and eaten. That's why Stoic had such a vicious hatred of dragons for the longest time, which is actually a really cool character idea. And with Valka, you just have this wonderful performance by Cate Blanchett. It's really animalistic in the beginning because she's been away from society, so there's a lot of great character touches like that. And the idea of like just the true remorse and regret she has for not being there for Hiccup when he needed, because she's assumed like the town went to heck and hating dragons and everything. She just thought, well, she can never go back. And now she realizes, oh my god, my son carried on my legacy, and so it's really moving.
Yeah. You know? I love the design on her. I love the animation on her. Just the mythology surrounding her. Like, she is just an awesome character to introduce into this franchise.
Yeah, and the idea is like someone who's been gone from society 15 years and been integrated to Dragon Society. That's why she's so good at what she does, and that's why she knows so many tricks. It's like she's been so dehumanized after 15 years. She's not even like a human anymore, almost, until she meets Hiccup. And also, I just love the idea of, you know, she meets Stoic and they rekindle their relationship, and it's just like it's instant. Like he just lost his wife, now he got her back. It's pure love.
And then, of course, we tragically lose Stoic also.
And again, she does have a lot of cool characters. Like she was the one like going up directly against the bad guy. You know, like you're swinging against him. We had a lot of really good, had a really good kind of mini duel before Stoic kind of came in there. And just Valka had a lot of dimension. I can't wait to see her in the future of How to Train Your Dragon. You know, I'm sure it's going to be good.
Yeah, she's definitely got a lot of potential for more character growth in the future, for sure.
It's pretty much that question of, hey, you know, if your mother ran away, what if she just became super awesome that eventually became reintegrated into your life, you know?
What if your mother became female Batman with dragons?
Essentially, yeah. Like, oh my god, you're right, Tiki. It is female Batman. Seriously, Valka was just such a cool idea on its face. We just assumed she was gone, then we have like the funny breastplate gag in How to Train Your Dragon. But no, it's much more than that. They brought her in.
Right, exactly, yeah. Okay, so my number 5. This is probably one of the sillier picks on my list, but you know what? Damn it, I'm a 90s child, and I love myself some Pokemon, so I'm just going to go with it. The woman constantly reminding her son to always change his underwear. Yeah. Delia Ketchum from Pokemon. I love her. I really do. I really genuinely love this woman. Again, I feel like she has a little bit more development in some of the movies. Like, I'm talking specifically Pokemon, the 3rd movie, the one where they're in the tower with all the unknowns and Entei, and she's kind of acting as a little girl's surrogate mother. Like, she gets a lot of development in that one. But on top of that, I just love her kind of her arc of Lair, she's free-spirited, she's a fun personality, and yet she's just kind of the prototypical, like doting mom. Of course, as I mentioned, she's always, and much to the embarrassment of Ash, bringing up the whole, oh, don't forget to change your underwear. That's kind of a running joke. But I like her progression. I like how, throughout the course of the series, we see that she gets a Mr. Mime as a pet, and that's kind of neat. And then, she always kind of has this almost Normero-like kind of flirtation with Professor Oak going on throughout the course of the series. And I don't know, what can I say? She's not the most complex character, but I'm a 90s child, and I love myself some Pokemon, and she was the motherly figure of the Pokemon universe, so I gotta put her on.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, she was entertaining. I don't know. It's been so long since I've watched it, but I remember it was like near my dropping off point. But I remember Mr. Mime was like her house servant or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point where I'm saying, well, they're just getting a little silly now. She's like a comic.
I kind of like that, though. I kind of like that she kind of had a Pokemon, like, he was like a pet / kind of butler to her in a way. It was weird. I don't know. Mr. Mime is a weird Pokemon in general.
Yeah, but the thing with Mr. Mime is, like, I think didn't he have like some sort of rivalry with Ash or something? I can't remember.
I could see that, yeah, in a way, yeah.
That's the thing that kind of bothered.
Rivalry with Ash.
If I'm remembering, I remember there's some reason I didn't like the Mr. Mime thing. I don't think it was just because you had a comic sidekick. I think it was because he had a rivalry with Ash or something. It kind of made.
But you see, I like that though. I like that Mr. Mime was kind of like competing with with Ash for her affections. I thought that was always really silly.
But I wouldn't mind. I remember Ash's mom. I wouldn't mind seeing her a little more in the series, but she was always fun.
Well, like I said, I do think her strongest moment was definitely in that third movie. That's where she got the most development.
I'm sorry. Remind me, did she do anything like major in that movie?
Well, yeah, she was a major part of the plot because remember the third movie is the little girl who lost her mother. And then she wishes her mother back through the legendary Pokemon in that movie. And then the legendary Pokemon essentially brainwashes Ash's mom into becoming the mother for the little girl.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So she gets a lot of development in that one. That is like by far like the most we learn about her in any one given Pokemon thing.
Huh.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, what's your number 4?
My number 4. Now we're getting to the 4 through 1 are my most difficult choices in terms of ranking.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
So 4 is a fantastic mother. We can probably mention her animated female characters. I don't remember, but Annie Hughes from the Iron Giant. Because my God, Brad Bird can.
I'm sure we mentioned her somewhere in that list. Yeah.
I mean, my God, Brad Bird knows how to write women. He does so well.
And I'm sure there's another Brad Bird mom on your list.
Yeah, maybe. So Annie Hughes, oh my gosh, she's a working mom in the 50s, nonetheless. That's even better. So working mom in the 50s. There's no father to speak of. Plus she's dealing with the fact that her kid's kind of an outsider, like these kid bringing home like weird pets and everything, like squirrels and stuff like hierarchically or not.
Well, he's a kid that's obsessed with sci-fi in the 50s, and that's a very realistic kind of thing.
Exactly. So she just kind of writes her kid off as like kind of a wandering imagination. He's the smartest kid in his class, so I don't really have the resources to challenge him. So a lot of interesting stuff going on with Annie Hughes, and I've told you, I'm sure at length I've told you in the previous video where I mentioned her that there's a whole deleted section by Teddy Newton of how she went on like a wild date with Dean one night. So it was like wacky Teddy Newton boards. And anyways, points. So Annie Hughes, she's in a really interesting position in this movie. She isn't exactly. We find out she's not exactly the dumb mom in the movie. I'm not saying she was like that at any point during the movie. I'm just saying she didn't end up being like kind of the mother who was in the dark.
Sure.
Like, she suspected so. She was smarter than the average bear, so to speak. She was the one. No, she has a really clever moment, and by the way, she is wonderfully played by Jennifer Aniston. By the way, so motherly in the delivery.
Yeah, people forget that she's Jennifer Aniston just because Jennifer Aniston just sings into her role so well.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston should have done more voice acting, I think.
She should have. Yeah, you always say that.
Yeah, because she's not just a pretty face. She can actually give a good performance if she has like the route to do that. Of course. And anyway, so the point is like there's a really great little reveal moment of like she's talking to Dean. Of course, I love her relationship with Dean. That's a huge bit of her big big, huge part of her character. That she just kind of meets Dean like this. Oh, my son has like this friend who had squirrels in his pants earlier in the movie. It's a little strange. And anyways, like he finds out he's really artistic, and she likes the artwork. She likes kind of this 50s subculture. She's really interested into it. Like, oh man, this guy's kind of ahead of his time. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the great moment is like says, well, how long has Hogarth been sneaking out here? He says, well, basically he kind of spills the beans, and he says, well, how'd you know that? He says, well, now I do. So the point is, she's really clever, and there's that great moment where she's like glaring at the Iron Giant, the little question of like, does she know? Does she not? No, she doesn't know. So it's just the idea of like, she could probably figure it out. I get a sense she could figure it out. Maybe Hogarth was on to something.
Sure.
So the point is, like, I always love the simple fact, like, she calls in saying, Hogarth, I'm sorry, I'm going to be late, but, there's dinner and stuff in the cupboard, so make sure you make that for yourself, and don't stay up late. She's kind of that wonderful, doting mother who does care, but she's in a really tough situation you root for her a lot of the time, and that's great. Also, she sports a very fantastic, I believe, Tony Facilli design, if I'm not mistaken, but she sports a really good design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's definitely a very sympathetic single mom, and a very realistic one at that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my number 4, another kind of comedic mother, and then my top 3 are all going to be just, like, really good, just, like, super awesome mothers, just in every sense of the word. But my number 4, comedic mother, no, not Marge Simpson. I think she's kind of a better version of Marge Simpson in a way, because she's more fun. Oh, yeah, give it up for Linda Belcher. You're not a fan, are you? Oh, hey, Bobby. I love her. I love her to death.
Look, all I'm going to say is she's a step above Peggy Hill, but not enough for me.
I like Peggy Hill, too.
I hate Peggy Hill. I really hate Peggy Hill. My God, she's a dumb... Oh, God, I'm not going to get into it.
Okay. Linda, I mean, what can be said about Linda? For fans of Bob Burgers, which obviously BlueDragonFive you are not. But...
I mean, I've watched a little of it. I'm a little higher on aspects of it, but I haven't watched enough, I guess, to change my mind or anything. I don't know.
Right. And for fans of the show, though, I really do feel like Linda is the glue. Like, she is as insane as anyone else, though. And that's kind of the fun thing about Bob's Burgers, is that Bob is the straight man. Whereas usually in this animated sitcom, it's the mom that's the straight man. And no, Linda is off her rocker, but she's still very loving towards her kids. It's like she knows Louise is kind of a little bit of a psychopath in training. And she's just kind of like doing everything she can to kind of prevent that. And like, oh, Louise, just do little girl stuff. And then, Jean, she knows is weird. Tina, she knows is socially awkward. It's like, what I love about her character is that she knows that her kids aren't perfect. She knows that all 3 of her kids have inherent flaws, but she loves them to death all the more because of those flaws. And that's what I absolutely love about her as a mother. And, and then, like I said, I just think she gets into just these hilarious antics on her own, and she really is one of the comedic highlights of the show. Whereas Bob, I love Bob's character, but he really does act as the Marge Simpson of the show because out of all of them, he's the most sane. So, I don't know. Bob's Burgers just has a really, really, really good dynamic to it, a really good family vibe. So I love it, even though I know it's kind of a mixed reaction kind of show.
I don't think she's getting a Mother's Day card from me.
Fair enough. All right, so what's your number 3?
I love my number 3 pick. I feel so bad I didn't put it as my number 1, but I just can't go that far with this one. This is one of the most underrated moms ever, but one of the best. Oh my.
Okay.
Dr. Ann Possible. Kim Possible's mother from the show Kim Possible.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Kim Possible, but yeah, I know the character.
Because I just love the idea. First of all, that Kim Possible, she comes from good stock. Her father's a rocket scientist, her mother's a brain surgeon, quite literally. Mm-hmm. And first of all, just the idea. That's how you get a kid like Kim Possible. She's produced from the most brilliant minds. Anyway, so Dr. Possible. First of all, I just love Ron Staub. Whenever he comes into the house, he refers to both of them as Doctor. Hey, Doctor, Mrs. Possible, and Dr. Possible.
Right, yeah.
Really, really, really fun. Anyway, so you got this character is just like she is kind of similar to Cora's mom, she's kind of the go-to advice giver between Kim and her mom here. And so one of the funny running gags, like, because she's a brain surgeon, she will be contacted during, like, she has to do speakerphone when she's talking to Kim with, like, the father.
Oh, no.
Kim possibly comes home. Okay, she has like a boy trouble or some high school trouble she needs to talk to someone about, and she wants to tell her father. Her father says, well, call your mother." He dials the mother, says, "Here you go, talk to your mother." And then it's just she's just unloading everything really quickly as a teenager would, and then it's pretty much there's one moment she realizes, "Wait, mother, am I on speakerphone? Well, Kim, hands free is the way to go." Because what's she gonna? She's doing brain surgery.
Of course, yeah.
Just with that, like all the other doctors here, and Kim gets embarrassed. It's real fun. But then again, they do have these jamming moments of like Kim Possible's mother is no stooge. She's the one actually who during the big movie So the Drama. That's the big movie. Eventually, Kim and Ron they got together.
Okay.
And in that, there's like this moment where she says, "Well, I thought you'd end up with Ron." It's just, "Oh, no." And then pretty much this moment where, like, she gets it. She understands, like, she really does belong with this guy. She's not going to hinder what Kim's going through. She has to learn for herself. But there's this moment where she does sorrowfully look at a picture of her and Ron together, and she's like looking at that, just thinking, "Yeah, this is the way it should be. These two have been friends for so long. They're made. They're two peas in a pod. They deserve to be together." But
of course, yeah.
just at that moment wasn't the way, but eventually found her way. And the point is, she's a really supportive mom. Really nice moments. Like there's this episode where they go on like a field trip to a ski lodge, and like the parents keep embarrassing her, and then there's just there's a really nice moment where Kim goes, "Well, you may embarrass me sometimes, but I know it's out of love. I love you too." Really sweet stuff. One of the funniest things with this character is that she is so not cut out for field work. There have been two occasions when she's gone out into the field out of support for her daughter. The Christmas one, which you've seen, which that one's just one with the family. But the most hilarious example is I believe it's Mother's Day actually. Yeah, there's a Kim Possible Mother's Day episode actually.
Right on.
Where parallel to Dr. Dragon's mother troubles, which are hilarious, because his mother's voiced by Estelle Harris, Mrs. Potato Head. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, basically the father realized Dr. Possible father, he realizes that you two are always distracted. You going on missions, you being a doctor, you guys gotta take the day off and you gotta spend the day together. And Kim goes on a mission and they go together, and the mother's like, you should share like embarrassing stories along the way, but not too much. But that's the thing, it's just so great about it. It's like not too predictable or cliche or anything. No, it's just like saying, I called you that cute little nickname too. And like the funny things, like they're doing all these like global stunts and everything. Like they're going on like these 4-wheelers and stuff, and like hopping on trains, and she is so like afraid and not cut out for it. But her skills, in the end of the day, they prove to be very useful. Like her surgery tactics and like how to defeat henchmen and all that stuff. So she's really helpful in the field. Like she's cutting wires to defuse a bomb like she would a surgery. So the point is, like, Dr. Possible, she's smart as a whip, and she knows how to get the job done. And she's always that really good, supportive parent, and she's always been a boatload of fun. Just such a cool idea to have a mother who's a brain surgeon, also really good at her job. Yeah,
I'm kind of having a little bit of an audio issue, like we were having the other night. So just bear with me.
How much of that did you hear?
Okay, hold on. Is that it?
Hello?
Shit.
Yeah, it looks like Tiki did not.
Why don't you go on to your number 3, okay? Or your number 2?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me? All right, I'm going into my number 2 now. So hopefully Tiki.
I'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah, well, Tiki's getting that straightened out, and he missed all my nice words about Dr. Ann Possible. Number 2, another big name. Oh my God, another big name. I wanted to put this person as my number 1 so badly, but I kind of put her as my number 1 for female characters, and I think I got a good solid number 1. But still, this character would be my instant go-to for number 1. Helen Parr, otherwise known as Elastigirl from The Incredibles. Oh my God, fantastic mother. I've talked in excess about her in the past, but seriously, Mrs. Incredible here. She's this mother who, like, had this really exciting life in her past, being a superhero, being Elastigirl. Yeah, having this really kind of cool flirtatious thing, Mr. Incredible. She's had an exciting life, and for the sake of her family, she's made a big sacrifice, not, going out and not fighting crime, not missing the glory days, at least deep down she does. But, she just pushes that to the side because she is encroach to being a good mother, being a good mother with their family, but she does have that kind of that guilt with her of like, I'm telling my children not to embrace this awesome side of who they are because it would definitely probably endanger them. She's like a smart parent saying, well, no, my kid became superheroes, that put them in a lot of danger. I want to try to discourage that. And my big obstacle here is like, their father is Mr. Incredible, and I'm Elastigirl, and we have like this grand history, and like literally have a whole trophy room dedicated to father being an awesome superhero. It's like, and plus they have really cool powers themselves. So how am I going to tell them to stop being that way? It's it's a really cool dilemma with Helen Parr, and just you have these moments where she just tries, and she has these really good moments trying to connect to her kids, but she just can't reach that block of just they want to advance themselves, they want to delve into their superpowers, which is like them searching for their identity, but they just can't because she's trying to hinder them out of protection. So it's a really interesting dynamic with Mrs. Incredible.
Yeah, Helen Parr, definitely one of the best. Again, along with Eleanor, definitely the poster child of Pixar mothers, for sure, on the Mount Rushmore of Disney mothers.
Yeah, she has those moments of like self-scrutiny too, like any mother. Like she looks in the mirror and notices she's getting a little. Well, obviously there's nothing wrong with her, but any woman's mother,
I think
like,
every woman over 30 just absolutely loves that moment. Because, because they can just so relate to it.
And let me just speak on that on behalf of every man in the universe, saying there's nothing wrong with the way she looks. But I mean, seriously, it's like a moment's bit of self-scrutiny of like saying, nah, I could be better.
Right.
But the point is, like, Helen Parr, man, so many great moments with her just being motherly. She flies the plane. She crafts her own. She takes charge in this relationship. Mr. Incredible's act now. She's calling him on, saying, "Listen, we got a family here. We got to support these guys."
Mm. And
of course, just she needs at the end of the movie, she does get through her arc of like, we got to embrace who we are in order to evolve as people, as heroes, as we are destined to be. So I mean, she really is a smart.
It's really fascinating how the first scene you get is she's like, "Oh no way, I'm never gonna give this up," and then Bob's like, "All I want to do is kind of settle down and raise a family," and then their whole character arc is kind of like the opposite of the first thing that you see.
And eventually, they link up to a similar place in the end. Of course, one of my favorite moments in The Incredibles is just that moment of like. Where Bob just kind of grabs her by the shoulders after he thought he lost her in that plane crash, just grabs her and says, well, wait, you're not strong enough? This is going to make you more of a man? No. Yes, no. So, well, what is it? And then he grabs her by the shoulders, really kind of full 40s style, just grabs her by the shoulders and says, I can't lose you again, with all the sincerity in the world. Just that moment of like, she's so touched by this moment, realizing, oh my God, we can do this together.
Oh yeah. Okay, is that all you got to say for that?
Well, yeah, just in a nutshell, one of the great three-dimensional Pixar. That's why three-dimensional.
Not intended.
One of the fully developed members of the Pixar family and moms. She's really fantastic character. I go on for hours about how great Elastigirl is, but she was like she's basically how Skylar should have been in Breaking Bad all the time.
Oh God! All the Skylar shade. All right, I'll quickly go through my 3 and 2, so then we can reveal our number ones. My number 3. This is definitely a character much like what was the name of your mother character from Last Airbender?
Senna.
Yeah. Much like Senna, this is a character who if you count all the screen time that she has throughout the course of the series so far, it is less than 5 minutes. But she makes such an impact on the series.
I think it's Ursa then. Ursa's the mother, Zuko's mother.
Okay, fair enough. No, it's all good. She is like, this character basically influenced all 3 of the other main characters. And so even though she's not around, like, every time she's referenced, every time that you hear anything about her, it resonates. And I'm talking, of course, about Rose Quartz from Steven Universe, the giant Princess Peach lady, essentially. That's literally what her design is. She's like a giant Princess Peach type lady. I can't say much about this character without giving away the show, man. I just can't. You just have to watch it.
Let me ask you a few questions, see if there can be non-spoiler. Okay, let's see if we can help here. Okay, is she actually his mother?
Yes, she is, but it's a very complicated sort of thing where she had to sacrifice herself to give birth to him, and he has, like, the gem that he has is her gem. So in a way, he is kind of like the embodiment of her. So in a way, because he has her gem, he is kind of like, like a little bit of a reincarnation of her in a way. It's weird. It's weird. I know.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, so I'm just, the way I'm kind of deciphering this is, okay, so he has the jewel of his mother in his belly, and he pretty much, that's how he kind of, can he communicate with her through that thing?
No, there's a lot of things that happen throughout the course of the series that are kind of like signs to her and allusions to her. Like, she has a room. Like, all of the three gems have very specific rooms within the temple, and she has a room where essentially Steven can kind of conjure up whatever he wants. But he's never actually, like, spoken to her or anything like that. There's a big symbolism of rose petals throughout the course of the show. And every time you see rose petals, it's, of course her name is Rose, but also she was big on, she would grow all these rose gardens throughout the outside of the temple. And now all the rose petals are kind of blowing all throughout Beach City. So she has such a presence through the course of the episode and through the course of all the series. The gems are constantly mentioning her, like, her leadership capabilities, her, and everything like that. Basically, she was just the ultimate kind of like savior to the human race with the crystal gems at her side. And I tell you, BlueDragonFive, if you get into the show for any reason, get into it for the character of Steven's dad. Because Greg Universe is an insanely delightful character.
I'm not going to lie. I think Greg Universe is a really awesome name.
Yes, it is an awesome name.
Greg Universe.
And he also has an awesome career. He is a one-man band. So, no, he's great. He's awesome. And honestly, if we redid our top 10 animated fathers, he might be number one. But just, the brief time that you do see Rose, it's when you see her kind of flashbacks to her relationship with Greg. And Greg is just kind of like this average, ordinary kind of beach bum that, this godly woman just kind of falls for. And it's so sweet. It is so genuine. Okay. And that's what I can just call the whole show, is just absolutely genuine. Okay. But yeah, like I said, the big thing about Rose, the big reason I love her is that because, she has so little actual screen time within the course of the show, but her presence is just all around it. And she really is like the central focus of the entire mythology in a way.
Right.
So, all right. So number two, quickly. This is a big one. This is probably out of all the mothers on my list, I would argue she's the most iconic. So I'm just going to jump right to it. Give it up to Mrs. Jumbo from Dumbo. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It's like funny. It's like a Disney Mom Survivor Guild of some kind.
Exactly. But what can be said about Mrs. Jumbo? I mean, I feel like I should just play the baby mine clip and then that's it. Like, there.
Well, Mrs. Jumbo, she's one of those great moms. First of all, she just... the beginning movie just starts with really the appropriate place to start with a Dumbo movie. Well, the baby gets born, so Dumbo gets born, and he says, "What are you gonna call him, Jumbo?" Well, then to say, "Well, no, more like Dumbo." Ha. So the kid's just born there. She's not afraid to slap these other elephants around for making fun of her kid. She gives birth to a child who's to an animal that's different from the rest, but she still loves him with all the
The analogy is that he's essentially handicapped, much like Nemo.
Exactly, and kind of like with Giant Bravo too, in terms of like he's different, just instantly hated by a lot of people, yet she still loves him no matter what.
Sure.
Yeah, with that said, Jumbo, I love that. Just that's her big element, is that she's not afraid to slap others around to protect her kid, and that's really because she's really protective of her child because of that handicap. And of course, even to the point where it gets her in a lot of trouble too. That's kind of her big character flaw, is that she'll protect her child at any cost, even if it's going to put her in danger. Which, like, she's spanking the bad kids, and then that.
And I must say that scene, it like as much as we're on her side, it is relatively disturbing.
Yeah, because those kids actually deserved it, though.
They did. But I'm saying for Disney, it's pretty graphic.
Yeah, point though. Yeah. I think we're saying that more because of all that nowadays, all the horrific animal accidents that have been happening. I think that's probably why we're saying that.
That's probably, yeah, in retrospect, that's probably has something to do with it.
No, but seriously, then of course there's the sweet
Dark
moment of, like, just
undercurrent there.
and then of course there's just that big moment of, like, just the of just like the consequence of her over. It's like this horrible irony of, like, as protective as she is of Dumbo, she makes him very vulnerable with her actions. Like, Dumbo is now all alone, and all she can do is, like, hold his trunk, and as, like, she's like almost give him, like, a lullaby of some kind.
Right, and that is just a classic scene in, in the Disney canon. It is like one of the top 5 scenes in the entire Disney canon.
And, I just love the subtle touch at the end of the day, at the end of the movie. Is that there's really kind of she's one of the Disney mothers that made it out alive in the end. Dumbo's all successful. He's got a really nice little gleaming train. He gives his mother, like, a private cart. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like the whole, look, Ma, I made it now. Live it up. It's nice.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I mean, what more can be said? All I have to do is point to the baby mime sequence, and you know exactly why I'm talking about. You know exactly why she's so awesome.
Oh, yeah. Just like waving goodbye.
Yeah. So without further ado, Blue Dragon 5, I will give you a drum roll, and you can reveal your number 1 pick. You ready?
Yep. Okay, number uno. The first one there, and again, bear in mind, as much as I would have loved to put Elastigirl as number 1 again, I would have loved to, and as much as I would have loved to put Dr. Ann Possible on there, I had, after much analysis, I think I've got just the right one here for some odd reasons. So I think I got number 1 there for the right reason. Mrs. Davis from Toy Story, Andy's mom.
I didn't know she had a last name. Okay.
Oh, they got a last name. Yeah, it's Davis.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so Laurie Metcalf does the voice of Mrs. Davis. First and foremost, she does a great job. But that's one of the big elements why she's kind of number 1 on the list here. The biggest thing with Miss Davis, she is not seen until really the 3rd one. I mean, she's seen kind of. You get glimpses at her because remember they tried to shy away from the facial animations in the early days of Pixar,
which was very wise of them. Yeah,
it was. I mean, Toy Story 2 was still pretty good, but they still just barely showed her in that. That's why she's, like, in the background, like when she's saying, "Andy, we gotta go." That's why you always.
But I like I like the detail though because it is from the toys' perspective. So of course, the toys would be able to see the kids a lot better than they could see the adults.
Yes, and I love how it's not just like it's basically. It's not this, but even if it is this, it's, like, done much more successfully than kind of your faceless parent cliche and stuff like Cow and Chicken or your other things, like how originally Timmy's parents were, like, kind of like the faceless parent, like they didn't just go with that. Like with her, it means a lot more because what Laurie Metcalf does with the role is that she brings this realism to, and these comforting words. She feels like she's such a genuine mother. Like in the first Toy Story, of course, big one because it's probably my favorite Pixar movie ever. Still,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Just in that movie, she has these great human moments, even though you don't see her face, and that performance just carries it through. Of like because you realize just right off the bat with Toy Story, well, she's a single mom, and she's saying, well, hey, listen, your birthday's coming up. So that's a realistic conversation the kid would have with their parents. Like, hey, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah, that's one of the unsung kind of things about Toy Story is that the family's going through a divorce in the first one.
Well, again, we don't know if it's divorce or loss, but
I would say divorce. I would say divorce.
I lean more towards loss because he's never mentioned. I don't know.
Okay.
Point is, because I always had that Toy Story 4 idea of like, what if it's like Woody remembering hanging out with Andy's dad and then he passed away tragically.
Well, then again, we're also going to get maybe a Toy Story 4 of, I'm just going to say it, of Jesse hanging out with Andy's mom.
We'll address that. Yeah, we'll address that in a second to you. Hold your horses.
Okay.
My point is, you see what I mean, though? Like, Laura Metcalf, she has these really just genuine moments. Like, those are real conversations you'd have. And then keeping in mind, like, she's a single mom just with 2 kids, and like and they're going through a move of all things, which is a natural occurrence here. So she's got to like pack everything up. She's got to have a birthday, then a pack up to go, and of course the toys get lost in the scuffle because of that. But a big moment, a huge moment that John Lasseter and all the Pixar game will always praise is a really good moment. Just one of her finest moments of acting is by the way, Laurie Metcalf, for those who may not be aware, she's also a famous face too, because she was Jackie and Roseanne.
Okay.
And she was currently the most thing people know her for now is she's Sheldon's mom on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
She's pretty funny on that too. She plays like a kind of a religious zealot of sorts, you know.
Yeah,
She's like a really religious woman. Anyways, the point is later is this great moment where Andy, like, obviously he's lost Buzz and Woody. His whole world's crumbling around him. He's like, oh, he's sad. He's in bed. Hold that really great shot of him holding the Woody hat in bed, you know. And just like, pretty much his mother comes in to comfort him, saying, "Well, listen, you'll find him soon. Like, maybe it's in the car. You lost him. You know, that great mom advice of like, you know, maybe it's in the car. Just, yeah, look for him."
And just all of Toy Story just feels so classic 90s and not in like the rocket power, like, oh, look how extreme they were trying to be kind of 90s. But just the genuine kind of like sensibilities of the 90s just show through in that movie, you know, with the, of course, with Pizza Planet, first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, it is a mundane occurrence of like a kid's lost a toy, but with just kind of, she's taking into account like how the kid's perceiving this, and she's treating it like such, like she's supportive, even though she's not getting over involved, because she's sure, okay, we'll find it at some point. Yeah, because she can only have so much concern for this. I mean, obviously, she's wants her kid to be happy, and she wants them to find it. And she gives like the classic motherly advice: "Where's the last place you had it? Well, it's there. You'll find it in time." And eventually, again, in the end, she is kind of vindicated. You know, he finds it. Where are they? In the car. See, just like I told you.
Exactly.
Yeah, really funny. And that, let's see, also in the other movies too is pretty good. Like she has this really supportive moment after Woody arm rips, and she's the one saying, "Well, listen, maybe we can fix him." Again, she's hopeful. She wants to make Andy happy, and that's kind of a moving thing for her mother. You know, just I guess it kind of connects to me and stuff because you know, just that the motherly figure who just wants to help in any way they can. You know, that's really what she is. And of course, in the third Toy Story, that's when she has her big moment at the end there, where she's like we see that moment there. It inspires Woody to let go of Andy, where she sees like it's a classic thing Pixar has been seeding in for all three Toy Story movies, especially the second one of toys representing kind of the parents letting their kids go, or seeing their kids grow up, and it's like Laurie Metcalf wonderfully delivers as Andy's mom, just like the whole realization that you know the room's cleared out and boxed up and everything, like, oh, this is really happening. You're going.
Yeah, you're right. That is like one of kind of the unsung, like very tear-jerking moments in a overall incredibly tear-jerking movie.
Of course, the huge parallel is that you know it's her saying, "Well, listen, even though you're not going to be with me, you'll still be with me in here," you know.
Mm-hmm. So long, partner.
Oh God, don't.
Hey, Blue Dragon 5. Remember when Bonnie, you know, like does the wave to Andy? You know, at the car.
Oh,
you know,
stop it.
Now I'm just remember when all the toys are like
you monster!
As they're trying to.
You monster! Stop it!
Okay, I'm done.
Stop it.
All right.
Anyway, my point is, it's just the really kind of parallel relationship between kind of Woody being kind of the other. This is going to sound kind of weird. I'm not saying Woody is kind of like the surrogate father or anything. I'm not saying that, but he's kind of like a similar. Kind of, it's like in those commercials they have like the mother and the cow who's also kind of like the mother. That modern commercial they have like the dairy being in your kid's life, like being the other mom. It's kind of something adorable like that. Woody's just kind of like that other kind of guardian for Andy.
He is. You're absolutely right. And throughout the whole movie, throughout the whole trilogy, he is like the toy that definitely represents that kind of like parental, you know, responsibility to their kids.
I mean, as weird as it might sound, you gotta factor it in there that Woody is a hand-me-down, which means he had time with Andy's father. So by proxy, he is kind of embodying Andy's father in some way.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So it is kind of a fascinating idea. The point is just Woody kind of realizing in that moment that, I can still have him in my heart, and I can still be in his heart, but we don't need necessarily be together because I have to let him go so he can evolve and be his own man. That's being a parent. That's being with him for so long. It's growing up with him. You have to let him grow too. It's not just one-sided.
Right.
really, really, really good stuff. And of course, we should probably mention the thing with there's always some interesting potential dimension with Andy's mom that I'm not saying we're going to see in Toy Story 4 or anything, but by the way, thankfully, from what I'm getting a sense of, they're not going to call it Toy Story 4. They might just call it like Toy Story and give it a subtitle. So they're trying to distance it from being a 4.
That's a good idea. That is a very good idea.
That's what I would. That's what I would expect them to do because I already have the working titles for. So obviously,
Right.
Anyway, the point is, so there's always the big fan theory because there are always some wacky fan theories wherever you turn. But the original fan theory is like Pixar theory. We're not going to get into that. But the other most recent fan theory sounds more reasonable, sounds a little more viable. Is that Andy's mom may in fact be Emily from Toy Story 2? Remember Emily?
I completely buy into this theory. I completely buy into it. It's more feasible than the Pixar theory because the Pixar theory is good until the Cars bit gets factored into it. But essentially, the idea is okay. So come on, they're just mutated humanoid car creatures. What's not plausible about that?
Oh shit! The point is with the Pixar theory with Emily is that Emily in the past, she wore a cowboy hat. She played with Jesse. A really heartfelt goodbye. Sarah McLachlan.
Andy's cowboy hat is Jesse's cowboy hat, not Woody's cowboy hat. That is all the proof that I need.
I don't know. I mean, there's. Did she put the hat in the box? Do you remember seeing the hat in the box or no?
I would have to rewatch that.
I don't think the hat was in the box. You might have something there if that's the case.
But I'm just saying, the hat that was very prominent in Toy Story 1 was not Woody's hat. It was Jesse's red hat.
Well, red with the white spirals on it. So that is
exactly
your mark of Jesse's. That's the mark of Jesse's head. And the idea is like so. Jessie mysteriously makes her way to Andy's room at the end of Toy Story 2, and there's like a missing scene of her realizing, oh my god, this is like a blast from my past. Jessie? The reason this theory has credibility is because from that point forward, Andy knows Jessie's name, because at first, when he just finds her, he says Bazooka Jane, that's her name. Until eventually...
You're right.
He thinks her name is Bazooka Jane, and then again, when he's saying the goodbyes, he calls her Jessie. So implication being, in the meantime, either he looked it up online or his mother set him straight. So we don't know which one. Either looked it up online what it actually was, or he learned somehow, like maybe he's doing research about Woody's Roundup. He found out who it is. I don't know. Okay. Or it just means, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, her name's Jessie the Cowgirl. So this old show called Woody's Roundup. Maybe that's how I found it. So maybe there is some credibility there, but it's never stated. So I kind of lean a little more against it, but it's more possible than the other one.
It's completely true, BlueDragonFive. You're kidding yourself.
So my point is, with obviously it's accidental. If anything, it is not intentional.
I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding.
But this one last thing on Mr. Davis, just I really struggle finding some reason why Elastigirl would not be number one on this list.
Yeah, and I told you, I was like, hey, by the way, you had her as your top female character.
And I was like, oh no, it's right. Oh no. But here's why I justify why she's at number one. It's because it takes a lot to make you care about someone who really doesn't factor that big. I mean, don't get me wrong, she motivates her plot, but someone who's not like a huge character in the Toy Story movies, and yet again, you don't really see her face at all till the third one.
Of course,
so, I mean, yeah. And yet you still care about it, and you always remember. Like, if you ask anyone on the street, they'll always say, oh yeah, Andy's mom.
Yeah, she's definitely a presence, for sure.
So, I mean, she is iconic in terms of, Andy's mom, because they realize, oh, yeah, he doesn't have a dad, it's just his mom, and she's in the background. So, I mean, people know this character in some way, and yet you never see her. So, I think it's kind of something really iconic and something that you can always credit towards Mother's Day, because Toy Story is such a memorable film. It's like, oh, yeah, remember Toy Story and Andy's mom. Oh, okay.
Sure, definitely.
So, I think there's something to be said for that. That's why she's number one. Yeah, it's Pixar. You gotta love Pixar.
All right. Well, my number one choice comes from the mind of Don Bluth, and this is just a standout. Just absolutely, I cannot think of a mother in animation that is above her. I'm just gonna give it up. I'm just gonna say it. Mrs. Brisby, Secret of NIMH. I mean, come on. How awesome is this character?
Pretty cool.
I mean, I got to admit, when I was a little kid, this movie just flat out depressed me. Like that song that she sings to Timmy at the beginning about how it's like, oh, you're dying, but you might get better. I'm like, Jesus, Todd Bluth, you're putting us in a really dark situation. It's like, this is a movie where it's like,
rats getting injected with syringes.
Yeah, that's just the like, and then the whole farm is just zeroing in on Mrs. Brisby's home, and they have to move the sick kid, and the kid is so sick that moving him could potentially kill him.
The Mrs.
And
Brisby is kind of a mouse. I'm sorry, it's been so long. It's mouse, isn't it?
Mouse, yeah.
Kind of the mouse or mice, however you want to do the plural on that, meese equivalent of Elastigirl in a way.
Of what?
Of Helen Parr.
Elastigirl?
Yeah, of Helen Parr.
In a way, yeah.
Basically being kind of a heroic mother figure, doing a lot of stuff to protect the kids here.
And she is definitely heroic. I mean, she is one of the strongest female animated characters I can think of, just because of everything that she goes through in that movie, how brave she is. I mean, bravery really is the core element of her character.
And remember, when this character was around, this is a huge deal, because one, you're going to have a protagonist to your film that's not just kind of the key. Parents usually get written off in the movies, but no, we're going to have our main character. It's going to be not the father of the movie. No. It's going to be a female lead, not just a female. It's going to be a mom. Mm-hmm. For a female lead. She's going to have really sick kids, and she's going to have to do a lot of really awesome stuff and be confronted with the most horrific nightmares you can imagine for a mouse.
I do like how her husband is kind of like built up and sort of glorified in a way, and that gives her kind of the clout in the community. I kind of like, I like all that world building. You know what I mean? I like how Jonathan Brisby is like sort of this legendary hero who sacrificed himself. And so Mrs. Brisby, she's kind of like living in the shadow of that at the beginning, and the whole movie is her kind of like proving herself and her kind of like living up to the name of her husband.
Yeah.
And and of course, Seeger and them too, they totally went the route of like, oh, let's just give it to the kids. And it was fucking awful.
And we had Eric Idle being psychotic.
Oh, God. Oh, God. But no, I mean, yeah, the kids are kind of barely in this one. When they are, they're very serviceable. They're much like kind of like the kids from American Tail, where there's nothing really wrong with them. You know, they're fine. They're fine. But Mrs. Brisby, oh my God, Mrs. Brisby. I can't say enough about her, just that she's awesome and that she's a kick-ass mom and that she just literally went to the end of the earth and hell and back just for the sake of her dying child. Just a fantastic character, absolutely. And, you know, of course, I'm glad that the movie is getting more recognition as it gets older.
Well,
I still think it's underrated. I still think it's freaking underrated just because of how amazing that movie is. It is just like one of the darkest and most cerebral pieces of animation I can think of that is still very much appropriate for children. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. Anything you can add?
Well, it's just overall with the thing, or you mean on Mrs. Brisby or just overall?
Well, on Mrs. Brisby, and then we'll get kind of overall, I guess.
Nothing really to add on Miss Brisby. She's awesome. She's very iconic, and especially in the Don Bluth films, most specifically.
Yeah, I mean, in the sequel, she gets jack shit to do, so it's like...
Oh, yes.
All right, so overall, what are your thoughts on this collective group of 26 mothers that we've highlighted, including the honorable mentions?
Well, you know, it is truly an achievement to have a really memorable animated mom who has stuff to do. It's not just kind of a plot motivator, because that's what parents in animation can lead to if you're not careful. But we've seen this with our animated fathers list and our animated mothers list. In the hands of the right people with the right craft of storytelling and animation, these characters can be made memorable, and they can be accumulated on a list such as this. It's such a challenge just to rank them, how awesome they are. Just thinking like, you know, how their parenting skills factor into things. These fictional characters feel like such three-dimensional people. We're ranking them by you know how fantastic, you know how fantastic they are, how great mothers they are. We're celebrating them like any mother because they've just connected to us on some level as real mothers have all over the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It was definitely a good idea for you to suggest this countdown. I'm glad we did it. And, you know, it really did kind of open my eyes in terms of, like, I did kind of have to pull from my memory banks a little bit to come up with some of these names. And you're right, it is very hard to come up with an animated mother who doesn't just kind of fit the prototypical role of, like, oh, she's the mom for the plot, yay. You know, it's like, all these mothers on their list, whether they be, you know, just really enjoyable personalities, really strong characters, just what have you. They all just kind of cross the line from just being a motherly figure to one of the main characters to just being like an incredibly awesome character in their own right.
Yes, and you know, just before we go out here, we should probably say, you know, even though she's not on this list, I think she still fits within the animated theme because if she kind of lives up to the term animated. We should just give thanks to our beloved Norma Bates, the ultimate creme de la creme of mothers. Everyone, check out the Bates Motel Mother's Day videos. You will not be disappointed.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right. I will go ahead and pin this up, and we'll have this in the background of our last talking Mrs. Banks video or Mrs. Bates video for the season. All right. And I guess that's it, Blue Dragon 5. That's it. We want to wish you all a happy Mother's Day. You know, go spend it with the ones you love, and join us next time where we'll round up and drink again.
Mother!
Norman!